Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So yesterday when I brought you guys the breaking news of what Biden planned on doing today, and I said, let's see if it actually happens. Well, it has happened. In dramatic shift, Biden issues order to temporarily seal border to migrants. Now, also, in case anybody was curious, San Diego is once again a top migrant entry point. Asylum seekers from around the world are trying to enter the U.S. through California, where migrant traffic has reached its highest level in decades. Also, Arizona Republicans are poised to add a ballot measure that would make unlawfully crossing the southern border a state crime. So that's interesting. That's something new that's happening there. Now, while it's not happening in our country, it's still extremely important to talk about what is going on in Nigeria. For those of you who do not know, they have had some issues the last couple of days, and let me explain exactly what has happened there. So I pulled up a bunch of stuff here to talk to you guys about, because we need to compare it to here, because things that happen in other countries seem to find ways to migrate, no pun intended, into our borders and start, causing issues over here. Monday, there was a strike in Nigeria, the fourth one since, May of 2023, when the new president took over. Bola Tinubu took over in May of 2023. Now, according to this, the transmission company of Nigeria, which is TCN for short, said union members drove away operators at the country's power control rooms and shut down at least 6 substations, which eventually shut down the national grid. The Nigerian national grid was shut down on Monday, and as of Monday afternoon, the power grid was still down. So far this morning, it is Tuesday. As far as I know, the power grid is still down. I have not heard anything different about that. Now, the Daily Trust local paper reported that the NLC affiliate within the national legislature cut the power and water supplies to both houses of parliament. There were also reports of banks and hospitals being closed in a number of the Nigerian states. Now, the Nigerian airline Ibom Air said it was suspending flights until further notice due to the strike, while another, which is United Nigeria, said airports across the country had been shut down and striking workers had not been permitted any of its flights to operate. Now, Nigeria's main labor unions have shut down the national grid, disrupted airline operations, and blocked the gates to parliament as they began an indefinite strike over the government's failure to agree to a minimum wage. That is the whole reason this is happening, is because of the minimum wage. Their minimum wage right now is a Nigerian 30,000, which is roughly American dollars is $20.04 per month. This is a monthly minimum wage in Nigeria. 30,000 is a month, right? And this was agreed on in 2019, 5 years ago at this point. It expired this April. And so the reason that these Nigerian union workers are going on strike and shutting everything down is because they want more money. They want to go from 30,000 Nigerian, I don't remember how to say the name of what it is, so we're going to say $20 a month, okay? They want to go to an increase of Nigerian 494,000, which is in United States or in US dollars, it's $330.04 a month. So they are asking to go from $20 a month in US money to $330 a month in US money, which generally for us, we're going, that's not a huge difference. I mean, that's a lot when but you look at it as a month and you go, oh, that's not that much, but that is a significant jump from $20 to $330 per union worker in Nigeria. Think about it that way. But it's been 5 years since they've had a increase in their pay, and they need money. And the reason they need this is because the prices of things in Nigeria have gone up exponentially. Let me see if I can find the rest of this article for you I've got a bunch of little notes here. Let me see if I can get this thing to pull up. My iPad is doing really dumb things because it's hot in this Jeep right now. Hold on. Finally up. Okay. Since taking office, Tinubu has announced a series of reforms which have fueled a rise in inflation to an almost 30-year high. 30-year high over the last year and a half. He's only been in office since, not even a year and a half, a year and a month, since May of 2023. So in that year, he has risen prices to a 30-year high. At the same time, these union workers and other workers have not had a pay increase since 2019. So that inflation over the last 12, 13 months for them is huge. I mean, we've had our own inflation issues here. We know exactly what it's like when the cost of everything has doubled, tripled, quadrupled, even if they want to tell us it's a 2% or 11% or whatever else. If you look at the cost of eggs just in 2020 versus now, we've more than 100%, the price of eggs. Same thing with bread and milk and health insurance, car insurance, mortgage rates. Everything has skyrocketed for us here. But a lot of companies have given increases in pay to kind of, help offset this stupid inflation we're going through. Whereas in Nigeria, that's not the case. They've been paid the same since 2019. And then this new guy comes in and wreaks havoc on their economy. And they're like, listen, we can't do this. We can't live at, $20 US a month, at 30,000 Nigerian, whatever a month. And they need more money, right? He has been under pressure from unions to offer relief to households and small businesses after scrapping subsidies on petrol, which kept fuel cheap, but it did cost the government $10 billion. So yes, it was helpful to Nigerians, but it was costing the government so much money that I guess he's saying we have to recoup it somewhere. So look at our country, look at what our government is doing, where they're sending out all this money to the illegal immigrants crossing the border, to other things, Ukraine, to the war that's going on with Israel, Hamas, Palestine, all these things. Money is being shipped out everywhere but here, and we are the ones who are feeling the impact of it, right? Our taxes go up, our cost of living goes up because we are basically subsidizing whatever it is our government wants to throw money at. And so, although, like I said, Nigeria is a completely different country, it's the same sort of issues where the government is making decisions that are affecting the citizens. We have the same thing happening here when those decisions that are made by the government affect it so that its own citizens cannot afford to live. There is definitely a problem. I'm looking at this whole thing. According to this, the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, said labor is harming the Nigerian people they claim to be fighting for. What is clear is that the issue they claim to be fighting for cannot be resolved by blackmail or sabotage. But they're trying anyway. They're trying anyway because they have to do something, because asking nicely is not working, right? So they're like, listen, we're going to shut this whole thing down, and then you're going to understand that we mean business. So I pull up their cost of housing. Like, I was just curious what the housing cost in Nigeria is. And one of the main prices I found across the board, like the average, if you will, was 55 million is what it looks like, okay? That is 38,826 US dollars. That seems to be the average Nigerian home price from what I could gather from my research, right? $36,826. You and I going, man, I would kill to be able to buy a house for $36,000, right? Well, here in the US, our average home price as of the end of last year, or the last quarter of 2023, they say our average home price is right at $495,000. Average home price, $495,000. At the same time that the federal minimum wage is still $7.25 per hour. How many people making federal minimum wage are going to be able to afford the average cost of an American home at $495,000? Not very many. Now, of course, you have different states that have different minimum wages. District of Columbia is at $17. You've got California at $16. Connecticut at just around $15.69. Colorado's at $14.42. Maine and Rhode Island around $14. So everybody has a different minimum wage, but then also you have to look at that state's average home price. It's going to be probably more expensive than the minimum wage can get. So these people in Nigeria who are living on what they consider a minimum wage for the union, they are being priced out of literally house and home. And I can understand why they are doing the things that they are doing, trying to get the attention of the people who are going to be affected by it. Because without them, who's going to keep up the grid? Who's going to keep up the water supply? Keep everything running and working. So they're showing them how necessary they are. Here, we have, we try to have strikes, but that doesn't work. Remember the railroad? You try to have a strike. Teachers union tries to strike. The electric union tries to strike. You have the car union. I don't remember what the whole thing is. My brain is fully not braining today at all. But even they tried to go on strike to get the things that are necessary for them to continue on with, living a life that's worth living, because a lot of people are working crazy hours, working hard jobs, hands-on jobs, and not making enough money to afford this new inflation that we have, whether it's housing or food or taxes or insurance or anything like that. So what Nigeria is doing, you're going to see this happening more and more across the world. It's not the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last. The fact that they have shut down their entire power grid is huge. I mean, that is huge. Imagine if we did that here. If somebody, rose up and said, hey, listen, we're not dealing with this, and they shut down a power grid. Not only does it send a message, obviously, to those in power, but it still hurts everybody else. So although these people in Nigeria are trying to say, you know, they're trying to make a statement. It's hurting a lot of people at the same time. And that's where things get difficult for people. It's like, what's better, to speak up and stand up for yourself, or to not, and then let everybody else be okay? You know what I mean? So what they're doing is crazy in a good way for them, crazy in a bad way for them at the same time. And I'm very curious how it's all going to play out. So I personally will be keeping up with that. If you guys are interested, I'll end up doing updates here. If not, no harm, no foul. But I thought that was extremely interesting, how much they get paid per month. And this is also why so many people, American citizens, are like, screw this, and they're leaving to go to different countries to live, because $330 is what these people are making in a month. Do you understand? A lot of people make that in like a few hours, especially depending on what kind of job they have, or in a couple days. You know, that is huge. When you can go buy a house for $36,000 as opposed to $495,000 here, it's no wonder a lot of people are trying to get passports and, you know, go on to other countries, because they have it better financially, which is also in itself really crappy that we as citizens feel the need to go someplace else in order to be able to live a life that we've worked for. You know, isn't that crazy? Anyway, that's it for right now. I'll see you guys again later. I got some more stuff to talk to you about, but it's hot in here and my phone's overheating. So I love you guys immensely, Squirrel Tribe. Hope you're having a fabulous day, and I will see you later. Bye.